Hello and welcome. You're watching Money 9. I'm Sakshi Batra, and on this show, we recap for you the entire week's trading action and help you understand what is there for the markets to look at in the coming week as well, and how should you be strategizing your investments in equities. To help us understand all about markets, I have with me a very special guest joining in. I have with me Mr. Avinash Korakshakar, Director Research at Profit Mart Securities, on this edition of Bazaar Weekly. Thank you very much, Mr. Gorakshaka, for taking our time for us. Well, your take on the markets this week, the way that we have seen volatile moves, will this continue? And do you also see the record run of markets continuing despite the kind of choppiness that we've been seeing?
First of all, Sakshi, I think markets are going to continue to remain volatile in the coming week also. And I think what the markets would be, what like to read in the near term is what is the kind of impact of global liquidity on emerging markets like India. With the emerging, with the corporate earnings season more or less complete, I think now mostly macro data points and global liquidity flows are going to decide how the markets are going to move up. In the very near term, it is largely the HNI and the retail money which is putting up, which is probably pumping up the stock prices in the near term. But longer term trends obviously would depend on what is the kind of positioning the FIs have got on the markets. We have been seeing a lot of FIs selling. And my sense is that one has to be a little cautious because at these levels, the risk reward for markets as well as for some stock specific companies is not going to be all that great. So I think you need to be a little careful, but at the same time, you got to be selective in picking up stocks. And I think in the coming weeks, it's going to be more of stock specific action. And then I think broadly on the markets, depending on how the macro news flows come in from the US markets, especially, from the news flow coming in from the Jackson Hole meeting on the tapering. So I think net markets will remain on the upside, but I think selective profit booking could also be seen.
Okay, so a lot of events that are going to be unfolding, and then we'll have to wait to find out how the markets really react to that. But on tapering only, I had one question from you, and I wanted to ask that, is the taper tantrum well in the price? And or if not, that the kind of market reaction we had seen back in 2013 after the taper tantrum announcement, and we had seen that the Indian benchmark index had fallen almost 7%. There was a price action on the rupee, gold was down, crude was down. Even copper, silver had posted losses. So, how do things look this time around as far as the US Fed commentary on this thing is concerned?
I think the good part is that the US economy is now picking up. I think most macro experts believe that US economy is getting into the revival mode. So obviously for that particular reason, maybe the quantitative easing may not be required. But I think even if the tapering is announced, Sakshi, I don't think you're going to see any massive panic sell-off and an immediate kind of, withdrawal of funds. I think already quite a lot of us are witnessing, FIs taking out money on a regular basis. So I think this is not going to impact the markets in the very short term. It could possibly, show its impact over the next say 3 to 6 months when flows actually become quite distinctively, move outwards again to the US markets. So I think net it's definitely not a good thing in the short term, but in the longer term, I think there's a lot of other, money which is waiting to come in the Indian markets, and that would obviously give a lot of support. So I think net we have to live with the reality that once or for all, sometime beyond September, we could see the first initial signs of tapering, and that could be sentimentally negative. But yes, it's not the end of the world. You'll probably see markets regaining their balance, based on the kind of earnings numbers and the kind of earnings trajectory, which is going to be shown by Indian companies.
Absolutely. Let's also pull up all the indices action this week so that all our viewers can also understand what kind of action did we see. So for the Nifty 50 and for the Sensex, it was a positive end to the week, 1.5% almost on the upside. The broader markets also, when we talk about, there was a better performance. They outperformed the frontline indices. Over 2% gains were seen in the mid caps. Let's also look at the sectoral view too, how that emerged during this week. As far as the sectors are concerned, I think there was this one sector that really stood out this week, and that is apart from the kind of move that we have seen in the IT space. In fact, the oil and gas space that stood out 4.5% uptick here. Metals outshone the markets to about almost 3% of an uptick was seen here. Banks, especially private banks, did better. Apart from that, it was healthcare in the positive side. Nifty Bank also in the positive side. FMCG inched up higher as well. The declines, on the other hand, was seen in the autos as far as the media stocks this time around. So I'd like to take your comment here, sir, with the kind of move that we have seen. First, on the indices, we have been seeing continuous upside despite these momentary sell-offs that we've been seeing, and especially on the sectoral view, the kind of movement that we've seen on IT, metals, it's absolutely stunning. Now, FMCG is also picking up pace. Your favorite sectors on your watch list after looking at the performance this week?
My guess is, I think Sakshi, you have been right that I think IT has seen a very sharp kind of move in the previous week. I think probably now IT has reached a little bit of a kind of a valuation kind of expensive point. So probably sectors which could be in focus could be large sectors like pharma, agrochemicals, and metals. Metals we are particularly positive because we feel that the kind of uptrend we are seeing in both the ferrous as well as non-ferrous metals, there is a very strong chance that possibly companies could get the benefit of rising global metal prices. So I think metals, across iron ore to basically rolled products and finished specialty steel companies are definitely bound to improve. So metals, agrochemicals, and typically pharmaceuticals could be three sectors which we are kind of positive, and we believe that in the coming quarters one could see a lot of action.
Okay, understood. One more question before we go ahead and discuss some stocks, sir. Now, we are seeing from about 1 or 2 odd days that India is also reporting higher numbers of COVID cases. Now, in the event that we do have a third wave, perhaps we are, crossing our fingers, but in case that happens, do you think the markets, now having had experience twice over, know how to deal with the resurgence, and or how would it really play out here if the third wave is kind of sharper?
See, I think my guess is that the third Delta variant wave, possibly which could come in, is not going to be as severe as the second COVID wave. Nevertheless, if the numbers do increase, I think this time the authorities are well prepared. I think the vaccination run rate is also going on pretty well. So I think all the COVID cases do arise, it would possibly impact maybe the market sentiment for a couple of for a couple of months. Our sense is that just like April and May were months where quite a lot of business was lost, we could possibly see maybe the third quarter numbers getting impacted, and I think that would be a temporary kind of a phenomenon in the market. But there is nothing to panic to ensure that the markets could completely take off all the gains what we have seen in the last 6 to 12 months. So I think some profit booking could definitely come in, considering that we are now at the top of the sense of the Nifty. So I think some correction is obviously warranted, but I think stock specifically, there are many companies which probably investors are waiting to gobble up on every decline. So it's going to be an interesting market. So I think one should not worry for COVID that significant.
Okay, understood. So let's actually talk about those stocks that investors could actually keep on their radar, because you do say that it's going to be a very, very selective market going forward from here, because we've seen the entire market run up already. So it's going to be very picky and choosy going forward from here. So the stocks on your radar, sir, the stocks that you believe that from here do have the potential or the value that could be unlocked from here.
I think within the pharma space, we continue to like frontline players like Sun Pharma. I think our basis of liking the stock is clearly because the management is very upbeat on the US generic market, and most importantly the specialty segment which they have been focusing for a long time. In fact, after the quarter one numbers, the management is very upbeat that the specialty business could throw up a very good profit kind of contribution to the overall revenue as well as the profit contribution. And I think for a very long time, Sun Pharma has remained flat. In fact, it's not performed. So previous quarter was a very pleasant surprise. So I think investors can definitely look at this company. Our near-term target over the next say 12 to 15 months is around 875. So I think this could be a good pick from the pharma sector.
Okay, understood. So Sun Pharmaceuticals is definitely one stock from the pharmaceutical space that investors can definitely look at from a long-term perspective, and for smart upside gains that they can have from the current levels. What about the other stocks, sir?
Yeah, the other stock is from the agrochemical space, Sakshi, which is United Phosphorus. I think United Phosphorus is a global agrochemical company which has got exposure not only in India but in Europe as well as in the Latin American markets. Our sense is that in both these markets we have been witnessing a very strong kind of demand upsurge, and obviously with the global kind of access to these markets via their subsidiary as well as the standalone business. Our sense is that numbers for FY22 should be a lot better. In fact, the company is making a good amount of efforts to reduce the overall debt on the books, and therefore we feel that the current price around 720, 720 cents should be used to accumulate the stock. Our near-term target again over the next 12 to 15 months is around 900 rupees. So this could be a good positional pick, from the agrochemical space.
Okay, agrochemical space, UPL already has been a good run so far, but over the next 1.5 years again, you can keep this stock on your radar, and 900 kind of levels could also be seen from the current levels, sharp upside again. Your last recommendation for the day, sir, which one would that be, and from which sector?
I think Sakshi, from the metal sector, we continue to like Steel Authority of India Limited. Now, there are two things which are important. Steel Authority of India has taken almost 2 to 3 price increases till date, and I think the market still are looking at a very robust kind of operational EBITDA number, at least for the next 1 to 2 quarters. So, quarter 1 was a record quarter for the company. And most importantly, I think the company is now seriously thinking of bringing down its debt on the books by a significant amount. So this could possibly trigger a further round of earnings growth. So net with debt being going down, plus with realizations moving up, and the overall end user segments doing well, and metal prices going up and remaining firmer, our sense is that this remains to be a fairly undervalued stock in the very near term. Our target price here again would be around 170 to 180, and I think this could definitely give us recent kind of risk reward, considering that other metal prices are trading at a significant premium to sale.
Okay, understood that. Thank you very much, Mr. Gaurav Thakur, for speaking to us and sharing your insights on the markets and these recommendations that you've given for the next week for investors as well. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure having you with us on Money Now. Let's now move on to see what are the key points that you need to know as far as markets this week were concerned, and then we'll move on to all the triggers that you need to watch out for the next week too. So, as far as the benchmark indices are concerned, of course, they closed at record high levels on Friday. In fact, the Nifty ended above 16,700 for the very first time on Friday. Also, when we talk about the benchmark, Nifty and Sensex, both of them ended over 1% higher this week. The Nifty Bank moved 2% higher this week as well. And when we talk about the broader market space, they definitely outperformed the benchmark indices too, with almost 2.1% uptick for the mid caps and almost 2% higher return for the small cap index as well. Now, apart from this, you also need to know is that what are the key things that you need to know as far as the next week cues are concerned. Just like how Mr. Gorak Sharkar also pointed out, it's going to be very key as to how the markets react to the Jackson Hole symposium comments, and if there is any kind of nervousness that needs to follow. Apart from that, you need to look at the kind of auto sales numbers that we will be looking out at on the 1st of September. The numbers will be coming out for the month of August, and we'll have to see whether there are any upside moves that you're seeing on four wheelers, two wheelers, or even the commercial vehicle space as well. And apart from that, you also need to keep an eye out on what kind of foreign investor moves or inflows do we see, because so far in the month of August we've seen a 3000 crore rupee kind of an inflow. Just in the last 3 days we've seen some kind of an outflow coming in. If that really increases or not is something that we'll have to keep you posted about. Well, we'll keep you posted on all the market developments and what are the kind of macro cues that the markets will be watching out for, so that you can get to know what is the prudent strategy as an investor that you need to follow in the markets next week as well. For now, we'll take your leave, and you can stay connected with us through all our social media handles, and also visit our website money9.com for many more news, comments on markets and on personal finance as well. Thanks for tuning in.